that God designed for his people to have intimate connections with him. God gave us the vehicle of prayer, but he also gave us the vehicle of worship. Because whenever we worship, we establish an intimate connection with God. In fact, in the Gospel of John, chapter 4, verse 24, Jesus is sitting at Jacob's well and he's conversing with a woman, and this woman brings up the subject of worship. And Jesus says to this woman, my brothers and sisters, in John 4, verse number 24, that God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. The NIV Bible puts it like this: his worshipers must worship him in spirit and truth, because worship involves the people of God. What makes worship such a mighty force? Not just because it involves the people of God, but what makes worship a mighty force is that worship invites the presence of God. Meaning, worship extends a formal invitation for God to come down and from above and literally pull up a chair and sit down in our particular narratives. Worship is a mighty force, number one, because worship involves the people of God. Secondly, worship invites the presence of God. But then thirdly, my brothers and sisters, worship is such a mighty force simply because worship invokes the power of God. Meaning, worship is one of the weapons in the believer's arsenal. Did you know that you have a weapon? Come on, somebody, in your arsenal. Did you know, as a believer, you're not walking around here unprepared or unprotected? Worship involves one of the weapons in the believer's arsenal. In fact, liars have lies, backstabbers have knives, and ditch diggers have shovels. But don't you think, as a believer, that you don't have a weapon? For the Bible says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're spiritual, and they're mighty through God pulling down the strongholds. And whenever we worship God, worship is one of our weapons. Worship is a mighty and powerful because worship involves the people of God. Worship invites the presence of God, and worship invokes the power of God, because there's something mighty about worship. However, how powerful as worship is, in and of itself, there's something more powerful about wounded worship. Somebody shout, wounded worship. If y'all help me out, I'll get out of here a little bit soon. I know y'all got some ribs and steak and chicken and barbecues to go to. Somebody shout, wounded worship. When I mention wounded worship, I'm suggesting that it is the kind of worship